It's been 3 months since the cake incident, and I honestly thought things would eventually calm down. But if anything, the family drama has only exposed who truly respects boundaries and who doesn't. After Laura refused to apologize properly, I cut off contact. No calls, no texts, nothing. I told everyone who asked that I just needed space for Emma's sake. For a while, it worked. Emma seemed happier. Her mood lifted and she started smiling more again. But then, out of nowhere, Laura tried to show up at my house during a small family barbecue my mom organized. She wasn't invited. My mom claimed she just wanted to fix things. When Laura arrived, she walked straight up to Emma with a forced smile and a bag in her hand. "Hi, sweetie," she said. "I brought you something to make up for last time." Inside the bag was a small chocolate cake, Mason's favorite flavor, not Emma's. Emma looked at it and quietly said, "That's not my favorite." Laura forced a laugh, saying, "Oh, come on, it's just cake. Don't be so picky." That was it for me. I stood up and told Laura she needed to leave again. She started yelling in front of everyone, saying I was turning my daughter into a spoiled brat and that I was teaching her to hate family. This time, though, my husband stepped in before I had to. He calmly said, "No, Laura, we're teaching her that people who hurt her don't get to waltz back in pretending nothing happened." Everyone went quiet. Laura looked furious but left with Mason, muttering something about how we were alienating her. The next day, I got a long text from her. She said she's done chasing people who think they're better than her and that family should forgive no matter what. She even blocked me afterward. I honestly felt relief. Since then, things have been peaceful. Emma's birthday photos are still up on our wall. Not the perfect day we wanted, but a reminder that, even in chaos, we stood together. She's been helping me bake lately, and just last week, she said something that melted my heart. "Mommy, when it's my next birthday, can we bake the cake ourselves so no one can throw it away?" That moment told me everything I needed to know. She's healing, slowly, but in her own beautiful way. As for Laura, I've accepted that family doesn't always mean closeness. Sometimes family means knowing when to let go. Because protecting your child's peace, their joy, their innocence, will always matter more than protecting someone else's ego. And that's a lesson I'll never forget.
It was supposed to be the perfect day, my daughter Emma's 8th birthday, and we had been planning it for weeks. She had chosen everything herself, the unicorn theme, the pastel-colored decorations, and most importantly, the red velvet cake with cream cheese frosting, her absolute favorite. Everything was going beautifully. The kids were playing in the backyard, the decorations looked magical, and Emma glowed with pure happiness. Until my sister Laura arrived with her 10-year-old son Mason. From the moment they walked in, Mason started whining, complaining that the party was boring, he didn't like the decorations, and he didn't want to play the games. I tried to ignore it because Mason always complains. But when it was time to bring out the cake and we all gathered around singing happy birthday, Mason yelled, "You, red velvet? I hate it. Why couldn't you get chocolate?" I tried to keep calm and told him, "Sweetie, it's Emma's favorite. You can just not have any if you don't like it." But he crossed his arms and started shouting, "That's not fair. I want chocolate cake." Before I could say another word, Laura abruptly stood up, walked over to the table and picked up the cake, then threw it straight into the trash bin in front of everyone. The room fell completely silent. Emma just stood there, frozen, watching her cake, her face falling from joy to shock and tears. Then Laura said angrily, "If you knew Mason was coming, you should have gotten something everyone likes. Now go and buy a proper cake before the kids lose interest." I was stunned. My husband told her to leave immediately, but she began yelling that we were overreacting and that it's just cake. Emma ran to her room crying, and I followed her, trying to comfort her while holding back my own tears. Later that night, Laura texted me accusing me of embarrassing her in front of the family over just dessert. I told her to stay away until she apologized to Emma, but instead she called our relatives first and told them I humiliated her and Mason. By morning, I was getting messages from family saying, It's just a cake. Don't break the family over it, even though they didn't know the full story. I refused to argue but posted one photo of Emma holding her small replacement cake that we bought later that night. Her smile wasn't as bright, but at least she was happy again. I captioned it, "No one can throw away her happiness twice." That single line caused chaos. Laura commented under the post accusing me of turning the family against her and traumatizing Mason. Then her ex, Mason's father, reached out to me privately and apologized. He said this wasn't the first time Laura had overstepped boundaries because of Mason's tantrums and that he'd been urging her to seek help. Meanwhile, Emma hasn't been the same. She told me quietly, "Mommy, I don't want Aunt Laura at my next birthday." That broke my heart. No child should have to fear their own family at their own party. A few days later, I agreed to meet Laura in a public cafe. She brought Mason along, who looked more embarrassed than angry. Laura started coldly, saying, "So, are we done being dramatic yet?" I calmly told her if she wanted to be part of our lives again, she needed to apologize, not to me, but to Emma. She rolled her eyes and said, "Fine, I'll tell her I'm sorry the cake upset her." That wasn't an apology, that was deflection. When I refused to accept it, she stormed off, dragging Mason behind her and hissed, "You're teaching Emma to hold grudges. You'll regret it when your family turns on you." Maybe she's right that some relatives will side with her, but I don't care. I'm not raising my daughter to tolerate disrespect, even from family. I've learned that love without respect isn't family, it's chaos disguised as loyalty. And no matter what happens, Emma will always know that her happiness comes first.